Hi everyone, my name is Nicole. I am a field director for Energy and Gas, Northeast Marcellus Initiative. I also am a Lycoming County resident and a leased gas holder. So I stand before you today as both a Lycoming County landowner and representative of the natural gas industry who works in the area of landowner and public relations. Speaking from both of these perspectives, I urge you to think very carefully before placing a ban on natural gas development in your community. In speaking with some of the landowners in Newton Township, it is apparent that there are a lot of mistruths and fear tactics being circulated that I would like to take a moment to discuss. Those in favor of a ban look to propaganda pieces such as Gasland for factual information, when the director himself has admitted to leaving out key information if it did not fulfill the purpose of the movie in showing natural gas development in a poor light. I will be sharing with you a debunking of this film, which you have in that packet I handed you, that our organization put together, but would also like to speak briefly about the most common misconception portrayed by Fox in the film. No one discusses Gasland without talking about the flaming faucet, an exceptional fear tactic thrown into the film for visual effect. What Fox does not inform you is that the faucet in the state of Colorado did not have methane from gas development. It was, in fact, pre-existing. Both New York and Pennsylvania have had cases of methane in water systems since the 1800s documented in newspapers, and the early 1900s documented with governments. In fact, in neighboring Susquehanna County, where some of the speakers are from today, out of 1,000 private wells tested by Cabot Oil and Gas, 930 of them have shown pre-existing methane. What's more is those claimed to have been contaminated by hydraulic fracturing in the Dimmick area, which is a blatant mistruth, have returned to levels prior to any activity in the area, both with and without treatment, because Cabot has treated the majority of the wells. You can go to Cabot's website where these results are readily available for the public, but in case you were curious, I do have copies of them here. Those are all of the water test results for the Saunders. Methane migration can occur anytime the ground is displaced, from creating a private well to developing natural gas. However, this is the exception and not the rule of development, as some who speak tonight would have you believe. What's more is that the claim of hydraulic fracturing fluid contaminating any of these wells is preposterous. While surface spills could happen, I speak from experience, my own well had a surface spill issue. Although several levels of containment are put in place to prevent this, both the Federal Environmental Protection Agency and our own Department of Environmental Protection have said that in millions of wells hydraulically fractured across the country, there have been none, 0, cases of the fluid contaminating groundwater supplies. It would go against the laws of gravity for the fluid to rise upward to the water table. Both the industry in working to ensure multiple layers of proper cement and steel casing is put in place, and the DEP in regulating them to do so, are working together to decrease and potentially eliminate issues of methane migration. We carry around a well casing with us. I can show you it's a 3-string. I don't have it with me tonight, but I'd be happy to bring it back up for you. Companies now use 4 and 5 strings. So the one that we have is actually not the full level that they use, but I'd be happy to share that with you guys at a later date. Another issue that has been raised is that of truck traffic and other noise disturbances. As I said in the beginning of my testimony, I'm from Lycoming County, Penn Township to be more specific. I live in an area where there is a lot of activity taking place. I am unfortunately a member of the 4-acre club and only own 2 acres, so will never have a pad directly on my property. I have also not been unitized, and nor have I ever received more monetary compensation than the original lease payment, which was $7.50 an acre, I don't mind telling you guys, almost 4 years ago. Yet I do live every day with the impacts of natural gas development in my community. There is definitely increased truck traffic on the back roads that I live on, but a lot has changed since the first well was drilled less than a mile from my home a few years ago. The trucks are taking different roads, limiting where they disturb, and tend to drive by at select times of day. They do not employ the use of Jake brakes, and if anything, drive a little too slow for my liking when I'm stuck behind one. Roads like my own that were once gravel are now paved, something our township could never have afforded on their own. What's more is no matter what the license plate of the company truck says, I know that most of those drivers are from Pennsylvania. In my little community, it is the gas industry that is employing both the youth and seasoned workers. I myself was able to stay local upon completion of my master's thanks to this industry, something I never dreamed possible. I have countless family and friends who have had their lives improved thanks to the opportunities this industry offers. The truck traffic is temporary. The noises of development are temporary. The sight of a drilling rig is also temporary. When I drive out my road now to give tours, which I would be happy to do for any one of you, I have to search pretty hard to find where the older sites are. Right now, all I can see from my road is the corn crop and the beauty of looking through at the mountains in the valley below. Despite the industrialization taking place in the background, it is still just as beautiful as it ever was, and now has a lot more to offer the residents of this area. Natural gas is the cleanest burning fossil fuel. It releases no SOx or NOx, and it will pave the way to not only decrease our dependency on foreign oil, but also to bridge the gap between fossil fuels and renewable resources. It is the most efficient fuel we have out there, and here in Pennsylvania, we are fortunate to have it right under our feet to further enhance the economic impacts of local communities. I will leave you with one final thought. The right to develop the minerals beneath one's property should be the decision of the landowners who owns them. As someone who works with landowners throughout Pennsylvania and New York on a daily basis, one of the most common things I hear is that it is our right to develop our land. This is not a statement that the farmers and other landowners saying it take lightly, and lawsuits against townships who do not acknowledge this are beginning to surface. Dryden, New York is facing a suit from a natural gas company. Middlefield, New York is being sued by both the company and the Joint Landowners Coalition of New York, which is made up of over 70,000 landowners. There's a talk of civil cases being brought against other townships as well. I'm not here to threaten you by any means, but to provide you with useful information. Lawsuits that so many opposed to natural gas development scoffed at as they proposed bans in towns outside the Marcellus, or those that they did not reside in, to have to live through the repercussions are becoming a very serious reality. No matter the outcome, please take the time to educate yourself through reliable sources like Penn State University, the Penn State Cooperatives, the Marcellus Shale Coalition, and the Department of Environmental Protection. We also welcome you to take a tour through Bradford or Susquehanna counties prior to coming to your decision so that you can see firsthand what natural gas development looks like, and we'd be happy to help you guys organize that. Regardless of how thoroughly you educate yourselves, though, please think very hard about whether or not Newton Township can afford to make the decision to ban natural gas development if faced with a lawsuit before putting your citizens in that kind of jeopardy. Thank you all very much for the opportunity to speak.